interesting to see if that is the case. But
Yeah.
speaking of cases, we are going to be hopping straight into this match. Nemesis this time going to be on purple, and Gaimin Gladiators on our orange side. So definitely things to be looking out for.
Well, just like we said, these are teams with, they have a lot of my favorite players. They probably have a lot of y'all's favorite players. Again, our trio kind of nailed that one, of course, because that's the ingredient player, but we are sticking with that Decidueye from Yeet Fan, and Rex going to be still staying with that Trevenant. Very nice. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you are ready to see the tree in action. And Yeet Fan, you got to watch out for. This has been really, really good with the Spirit Shackle. So we're going to be looking for that, for some of those snipes and everything. And GG probably very aware of this. So I really want to see also how GG is going to answer to that.
Yeah, and interesting, once again, Nemesis picking up both of the Ghost Tree Pokemon. If Pumpkaboo was in this game, they probably end up doing that too, but it is really interesting to see how these teams play out. Art Ryu is one of those players that you have to keep an eye out for. You don't know where they're going to play. They're one of the ones, like, they're the X factor. They could either be in your jungle, they could be taking top lane, they could do whatever they want, and it is going to be interesting to see how GG really plays into this. Both these teams have history with each other, so they might know how they want to play against each other, how they want to play into it. But we'll see if that is the case, especially moving into game one here in the winners finals for the Pokemon Unite Blitz.
Yes, our trio, the one to look out for, like you said, for those kind of game-changing moments that might happen, especially within the final stretch. In the last few seconds, I've seen her win matches in the literal last second, As we're just seeing like a 3-2-1, she'll be dumping in something like 50, and in the final stretch, that would be 100. So it's just, you got to watch out for that slippery squirrel, of course. But now we've seen Yeet Fan come into this prevalence with the Decidueye, and you notice Gaimin Gladiators putting that pressure on, not only for Yeet Fan, but also for the Hoopa right now. And so this is maybe what you have to do as your answer to it. I don't always have the answers to this. I like to see it transpire with the pros, making the plays happen. But one thing that I can analyze, is just seeing what does GG do here, and maybe that's the key, is you try to pick off this Decidueye as often as possible, away from the rest of the pack, right, Kanashi?
Yeah, Decidueye doesn't get a lot of their pulls and their abilities until about level 7. So being able to shut that down is going to be really big for them, just allowing them to make sure that they can continue on with that pressure. So we'll see how well Gaimin Gladiators closes the distance on Yeet Fan, and if that is going to be the play moving forward.
And so that Combi and Vespiquen that came down at 850 goes down very quickly here on the bottom path per usual. We're going to see Rex actually going to pull a little bit of the slippery maneuvers. We really want to get this Audino, but it looks like that I think will go to GG if I saw that correctly. And so right now it's just going to be kind of making sure that you're getting these wild, the Audino, you're going to get the wild Pokemon, but then you set up for the next objectives as well, while adapting to whatever the match is going to need. So it's often these moments for commentators that, we fill a little bit of space here until the action, takes place. But of course, sometimes it's taking place right before, because that team fight, is in anticipation of a big moment.
Yeah, the thing that I want to point out here is Nemesis's lineup requires levels in order to really scale up. You do see the way how not only just Trevenant needs to play, but also Decidueye, in order to really get their levels going. Meanwhile, Gaimin Gladiators wants to start early and just apply that pressure as much as possible. You see, once again, the A9 and the Blissey in their team lineup, just allowing them to really get rolling by level 4 and have those abilities online. So if that is the difference that they're looking for, that might be the way how Gaimin Gladiators mentality is. It's just shut down these Pokemon that require a lot of farm and just make sure that they can't really even play the game here.
You're going to see a lot of pressure right here on this bottom path goal, and they're going to even extend past that. And then the hammer comes down, but we're going to see Gaimin Gladiators. They're going to score in that 22, 30. When you're not even at 7 minutes on the timer, those are pretty big points, again, for the early game. And so that's also going to position GG very well for the Combi and Vespiquen combo. So looking pretty good here. And obviously you don't count anybody out, so none of these statements are meant to be like, okay, GG's going to win. No, we're just saying that at this stage of the match, that's what it's looking like. But Dreadnought's coming down here, and GG has already already bursted that down to a 50%, and then already now at the 90, Artrio with that slippery squirrel. Greedent gonna come in and take that. That's gonna be shielded experience points for Nemesis, right? And now GG gonna lose one of their big players, major players. And notice now, of course, Trainer LGC coming in for blood. That's gonna be a KO streak. Lutano's gonna get one, and then a KO streak of 3 right here on screen. And this is just devastating, ladies and gentlemen. There's another KO out here. KO streak of 4 for Trainer LGC.
Yeah, they're doing a really good job of just rotating through, and I feel like that was the little bit of time that Nemesis decided to take, as Art Ryu is going to go down here. It looks like the Gaming Gladiators are not done. They're saying we might want to, take back a little bit of space. They do end up giving up Indie Bear as well for that, but they are just applying a little bit more pressure. They're saying, hey, you know what? Maybe we don't need them to score everything in here. But the thing that I wanted to mention is, Trainer LGC went through their jungle before rotating down to Dreadnought. So having those buffs are really big and allowing them to really capitalize and get that damage through. Lutano's opening up with the Aura Cannon. We do see a Hyper Beam up at top trying to get a couple more players. Looking at Yifan, they're going to be able to take that down. Lutano down to 1 HP. Can they get away? No. Rex is going to be able to take that down. Looking at Goof now, trying to pop the Aurora Veil, trying to keep that up and running. Meanwhile, Art Ryu just, Tokyo drifting down this back line here. Can they get that down? The Hyper Beam coming out from Toon, going to be able to clean that up. Looking now at Rex, can they go and get that? They are continuing on with the pressure. Rex is going to go down, so that's a Hyper Beam coming out for Toon, getting a second one as well, looking for even more. Can they get it? They are going to do that. Looking at As Noble now, chasing Toon, blood thirsty right now, getting that 4 in return. Now are they going to look for Yeet Fan as well, maybe trying to close out that distance? Can they do it, or are they just going to play it safe and just figure out if they want to go and grab more objectives, maybe even more farm? But that might be the choice of Gaming Gladiators, to go ahead and say, you know what, small farm is small farm. We'll farm their characters instead.
Yifan throwing down that knock-knock. He knew it, they knew to keep that distance, but look, that knock-knock will come in at a time where you could zone GG off of this Dreadnought, but Indy gonna throw down the Rings Unbound. So here it is with Asnable as well. They are both gonna throw down the Rings Unbound. This means that anybody who was away can actually port in, of course, but Toon seeing a lot of damage right now. There's a lot of damage all over the place because Asnable is down, but also Toon is down, and we didn't even see who could secure that unless you were looking with a sharp eye, ladies and gentlemen, because there's gonna be KOs everywhere, left and right. But if you saw who got the shields and the experience, GG is currently with the bubbles over all of their characters, and so they'll go ahead and secure that Dread. We're looking at 108 for Gaming Gladiators to 63 on Nemesis. You guys are right in the chat. Killer or Cas fan, I think, was saying, Artrio just criminal. And yes, I know Minor D couldn't even see Artrio on that first Dread. That's how it's done, man. She is one of the top Greedents for sure. So now we're going to see this assault on the bottom lane. Kanashi, what do you think's going on? Because look at the top path as well.
Honestly, both of these teams are just trading out their goals up at top, just trying to get as much as they could dunk on top. But this fight at bottom has been going on for literally 3 minutes. There has not been anything else going on besides taking this fight. And now Gaming Gladiator says, okay, we're gonna go ahead and break this front goal so they cannot retreat and go and get the next Dreadnought if they wanted it. So now Lutano and Art Ryu going head to head, trying to go ahead and take this Rotom. Now Toon ruining the party, trying to make a little bit more, and they're gonna be able to steal that away from Art Ryu, just making sure that they have that damage. So this time Rotom is gonna be marching towards Nemesis's base, seeing if they can go ahead and capitalize on that.
Well, the Gladiators, they don't pretend to be a man of the people, but they do try to be a man for the people, ladies and gentlemen. You're gonna see it right here. This is just, I'm sorry, I'm pulling out Gladiator movie quotes, okay? It's gotten to that point, hasn't it? So we're seeing, of course, Zug gonna pull out this KO against Trainer LGC, who was on just a mad tear throughout this game. And of course, trading blow for blow with Toon, also on that mad tear. They're both getting those quad KO streaks. I mean, this is looking like that knockdown drag-out fight that I think we all assumed it would be. You have enough time to go for that Zapdos, and it looks like GG Gaming Gladiators set up pretty nicely. So Gladiators, I salute you.
Yeah, Gaming Gladiators just chilling down here, just making sure that they can grab this out. They don't know that Yeet Fan is just chilling in that bush right now. They understand that they have that damage. We don't know if they're going to try to snipe that away. It's not going to be the case. So Gaming Gladiators just going to secure down this last Dreadnought, make sure that they have that shields getting ready for the final fight, and they are in position to go ahead and take this.
We're seeing some people in the chat. It was the Brave Pie saying Lutano is so fed. Lutano, whether fed or unfed, is a beast, so you don't want to mess with level 14 Lucario as Lutano right now. Lutano as Lucario. And so now it is the final stretch. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where I think the biggest scuffle of the match might take place right here. You're going to see the trees. They are going to be the cursed forest, that Unite move, and then, of course, the Rings Unbound. That's where you can bring in the rest of your squadron. And, of course, now we're seeing the Bliss Assistance go off, so Toon is going to be well protected right here. Kanashi, I'm looking for that kind of moment where we're going to see this is a lot more pivotal. That might be it. Asnable's taken down, but no, you're going to see the Water Burst Shuriken go down right here. Nemesis looking pretty good. They're trying to keep toe-to-toe, but they are down one player.
They are down one player, and Gaimin Gladiators is eating up as much space as possible. They do pop the Hoops Unbound, trying to create a little bit more space. Art Ryu here in traffic, looking at the Zapdos as well. This is one of the tankiest squirrels in the game. They're going for it, and they steal it. Nemesis is going to just take it right from Gaimin Gladiators this time, and this time they're going to be pushing on forward, looking to score here. And now Art Ryu, looking at that bottom goal, going to be able to dunk that 100 to start. And now it looks like the rest of Nemesis looking to finish this off with as much dunk as possible, but Gaimin Gladiators is not done yet. They're looking for potentially an opening here with Indy and Goof getting in position for this. They're trying to close the distance on Yeet Fan. They're doing that at the moment. Indy already at half HP, gonna get hit quite hard, but using the trick to give a little bit of distance, maybe even create a little bit of space for them to go ahead and try to dunk at top, and they are gonna get stopped up here. It's Toon gonna get burst down here by trainer LGC, trying to get away, and that's not gonna be the case. And now Gaimin Gladiators trying to find an opening here, but I don't know if they can here.
Kanashi, you notice what Gaimin Gladiators had to do to try to come back. Again, like you said, I don't think it's going to be enough, clearly, because we saw that the score was at least probably around 200, but they went for that slippery squirrel. They went for Arch Ryu. She had 200 points that round. There was a reason that they go for her in that final stretch. Not only did she dump in that hundo burger, but then after that, you know, you got to cut off that squirrel before it's on that crazy momentum. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's Nemesis with a victory at 310 to 198 for GG. This is pretty devastating when you look at only 2 of the people on Nemesis were the goal scorers. So that means goose eggs for trainer LGC, Yeet Fan, and Asnable. Like, that's pretty amazing to see Nemesis pull this off against a team like Gaimin Gladiators. Here's what the data looks like for everybody. Goof still dealing a lot of damage in these matches. You love to see it. Trainer LGC, though, for Nemesis with that 62K. This is all looking really solid. Yeet Fan with the 51. So, Kanashi, what do you make of this? You know, Gaimin Gladiators, they are a team that is worth their salt. When we say, you know, hey, any team worth their salt can do XYZ, well, this is a team like that. They are the Gladiators for a reason. So, to come back from this, you know, you got to cut off Arch Ryu before some of these major plays, but what else do you have to do, you know, based on this match that we just saw?
This is one thing that, like, when you look at the stats, it's definitely not going in Nemesis's way, but the way how they played that last fight was, we have enough to sustain in this fight. There's no reason for us to be here, so why should we even take this fight? And once they actually got that up and running, they were ready to go. They were just able to roll with it, find the certain picks that they wanted, and take that to their greatest advantage. So really good on them. I have to, you know, like, Gaimin Gladiators lineup was a very typical team fight oriented, constant fighting lineup. But how do you do that when your opponents are just going to be like, hey, we could eat that damage. We're just going to go in, steal whatever you're working on, and continue on with that pressure. So really good on Nemesis to really remember, you know, take the objectives, make sure that you could win that. Because levels advantage wise, you know, it was literally GG's for, you know, 8 minutes of that game.
Yeah, and you looked at just how the match was going beforehand too, you know, before the zap. It really did, that Zapdos made a huge difference. I think that Nemesis, though, is a team, when you consider Arch Ryu as that Greedent and how she plays, that could have potentially come back, you know, without the Zapdos. It would have depended, though, on how they could shut down GG if they had gotten it. Because if GG obviously scores in with lots of full pockets, it's very hard to come back from that. So it could go either way, and that's what we love to see. So, ladies and gentlemen in chat, you know, viewers at home, Kanashi, myself, like, we have an absolute treat of a match. You know, this is going to be some of the ones that you want to keep your eyes peeled for every single play. I mean, you're looking at the best of NA right now, and so like I am just all here for it. You know, as I said before, but I cannot stress the importance of these two teams going at it. So, like I say again, you want to try to just cut off that greedent. You know, I would say for any greedent player who's worth their salt, but definitely for Archery, one of the tops. Cut it off before they start making these just massive plays. You know, she goes on those rampages, and you saw it reflected in the scores of 210 points that last match.
Yeah, they literally just let Art Ryu and Rex just go and dunk only. Like if that's not a statement already, it's just like, hey, we could win by just letting two of our players score versus like, you know, just playing defense and just trying to get the damage. Like Nemesis knew what their final game plan was, and they understood that like, hey, we had to sneak Zapdos to make it work. And you know, that's just how Pokemon Unite is at the moment. It's, you know, you win that last fight and it works out in your favor. So hopefully, you know, Gaimin Gladiators just have to, I feel like, need to keep their foot on the pedal and understand like maybe even let Nemesis start the zap. Like just play it a little bit like slower in that case, and just figure out a way how to adjust to such a, I would say, an unorthodox comp that we normally don't see. So
yep,
I feel like that once again, the element of surprise is really important in Pokemon, whether it is, you know, VGC or in Unite. It's just you don't know what you're playing against yet. So that is also very important moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, that's what everybody loves to see, is this kind of unconventional build, and especially when it works, right? And so that's what Nemesis does. They make it work. So they're not just picking Tree for fun, you know, they're not just picking Decidueye for fun. These people, they know how to play, and so obviously they're going to make it work. So we're going to see who's got the green check mark, who's securing in what, and does GG change anything up? You know, we're going to see Toon with that Dragonite right now, and you have to wonder, you know, is the pick for your central area going to be Cinderace? Is it going to be that Dragonite? You know, and so Toon sticking pretty confident right now, and we did see actually some devastating hyper beamage the last match. You know, they brought Archery down when you thought she was going to get away with just the edge of that hyper beam, man. It was just barely that secure. So Toon, you know, pretty much a monster. You know, don't count him out. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're ready. We're going to be looking at 5 seconds until this match goes into the lobby.
Yeah, both of these teams are saying, hey, we did it, run it back. So both these teams going same exact lineup that they did from the last game, and they're ready to go head to head. So I feel like both of these teams had the right idea moving forward. Like GG wants to just clean up that last fight for them. And meanwhile, on the other side, you have, you know, Nemesis, who just wants to capitalize and do the same thing that they did last game. They want to keep that damage moving forward for them. So I do want to see how these teams are going to change probably the mentality and the way how they're going to go about it, rather than it just being, you know, we're going to play a different game overall. We're going to be playing, you know, just the best game that we possibly can with the lineups that we understand and know.
And hey, speaking of a different game, although it's not different competitors, we do just want to let the viewers know, just so it's not a jarring experience, it's often good to mention, of course, Gaimin Gladiators now flipped for the purple side. So Nemesis, of course, will be on your orange, just so we can keep track of those teams, ladies and gents. And so I hope you're ready. Viewers at home, this is going to be absolutely nuts, we hope, for that game 2 between these two teams. So getting obviously put on this early pressure on the bottom path. You want to try to get these Audino, no matter which team you are. You know, it's that coveted XP that you're going for. And we see some early points dunked in. 18 kind of actually a little bit larger for this stage of the match when you're super early on. But looking good, looking kind of standard so far, although Yeet fan in a little bit of trouble and going to back off.
Yeah, and you see how much pressure they're applying. They're just taking away as much of the space as possible, trying to steal away a couple of the extra bits of farm that they can, and then going ahead and leveling up there. So you do see that they have A9 up and running. They also have the Chansey is almost a Blissey here as well. So getting into this first beast, it's going to be really important to see which side it goes towards.
That's absolutely right. And so we looked at that 850. That was the Combi and Vespa Quinn. They got served up there. So those are down. And our trio just being, I love to say the slippery squirrel, right? Because all of those movements look pretty slippery. But look at what's happening to Yeet Fan. Going to try to be the slippery owl and will not slip out of there. You're going to see Goof going to go ahead and secure that while Indy and Zugrug put on some pressure. Zug will also score in. So we got a good 12 and then a 13 by Lutano there on the top path. So everybody's making some quick work here. And especially for early on in this match when we're still in the early game.
Yeah, we're in the early game. We're just relaxing, trying to figure out where we want to go with this. So a lot of the team is just going to be backing up, realizing where they need to go and figuring out what they can do. So you do see the way how these teams are operating. They're figuring out, you know, where do we want to position ourselves for this first Dreadnought and what is going to be the call here. They're looking at trainer LGC right now, but he does have Asnable with them and Eatfan. They are rotating all to mid, so this mid fight trying to get Toon out of the fight, and Zug is going to absorb a lot of that damage getting ready. Goof already using the Aurora Veil to possibly move forward here, and they're looking at Rex. They happen to bring down the tree this time, so Asnable trying to get them out of there possibly with the trick, but it's not going to be the case this time, as it looks like Gaimin Gladiators is going to be up 1 at the moment, getting ready for the second wave of bees here.
Not only that, but we're going to be looking at Dreadnought afterwards, of course, but in between, you're going to see these kind of skirmishes, and so Gaimin Gladiators obviously set up pretty well. Our trio going to go ahead and just kind of back in there, right, and score in that 3, but this is what I was talking about before, is what Nemesis was trying to do there in that central area. It was the thing about what do you do to bring down Gaimin Gladiators, right? And so it was that principle of, can you pick off just one? So they were looking at Toon there in that central area as maybe that easy pick off. Found out it wasn't super easy, but the right side team, so that's Nemesis, they'll go ahead and get that secured, that Dreadnought, and maybe not without a little bit of punishment. Yes, so we are going to see a few members go down. That would be the Tree there, unfortunately for Tree, and then Gaimin Gladiators as well, going to lose a few of their members.
Yeah, they're going to lose a few of their members, and they lost the Rotom, or they lost the Dreadnought. So Nemesis is applying that pressure now. They're dunking at bottom, applying that pressure, making sure that they can get whatever they want here. But Gaimin Gladiators doesn't want to make it for free. You know, they want to take away whatever they can. They're looking at Yeetfan. Can they bring that down? The Owl possibly sneak it away, turning back around for the Spirit Shackle to possibly grab somebody else out here. Berry Belly Flop being popped by Art Ryu, just going ahead and gonna go steal those berries while they're here. And applying that pressure moving forward, we do see the way how Zugrug is currently utilizing that safeguard. Not going to be safe enough for the Alolan Ninetales, as A9 is going to go down, and the rest of Gaimin Gladiators, who's down at this bottom lane, is going to get taken down. Toon as well, so Lutano is just up here all alone, the solo man, just trying to dunk as much as possible, but Nemesis making it really difficult for Gaimin Gladiators to just keep their spacing and footing here down at bottom.
Some critical maneuvers and well played by Nemesis. Notice our trio will go ahead and jump in this 16. This is anybody's match, of course. When you're looking at 5:30 on the clock and only 134 to 124, we got 10 points to distinguish these teams right now. It could go either direction. I want to point out, of course, Yeet Fan as our Decidueye. Absolutely amazing, but able to score in today. You know, we saw the goose eggs last match, so it's nice to get some points on the board, right, Yeet? And so I hope that they're listening to me. Maybe now or maybe later, but anyway, Zugrug gonna maybe possibly sneak in with this 30, although you're noticing trainer LGC gonna be back to base. Yeet gonna go ahead, throw in that 11. So this is now a match perfectly within striking distance, 1 point, and we got second Dread coming up.
Yeah, Asnabolt's going to be able to pop the Hoops Unbound to possibly rotate the rest of the team down here. Indy's going to answer back with their own Hoops Unbound this time, trying to take down each other in their opposite numbers. Looking at Rex next, possibly getting that damage through the Force Curse. Isn't going to land on anybody, but a lot of the damage is coming out here. Gaimin Gladiators dropping really low, and Artryu coming through with the damage. Can they get the damage to clean it up? That is going to be the case. The Hyper Beam going to be able to trade that out. Now the teams are going to continue to fight down here. Toon, very low HP, gonna get possibly brought down the multi-scale, making it easier for them to survive, but it looks like Nemesis is just in position to go ahead and take the second Dreadnought, so working out in their favor at the moment, but you know, game is still within striking distance for either team.
This team is solid, ladies and gentlemen. Look at what Nemesis has done right here. Even being down by score, and it's not a huge difference, those were some critical plays, and our trio just absolutely a menace. I mean, our trio did lose her life as well at that Dread, but not without so much damage, not without so much just wreaking havoc for Gaimin Gladiators. They are going to go ahead and trade off objectives and get that Rotom now. So Gaimin Gladiators stick with that second Rotom, and trainer LGC going to go ahead and evade maybe some danger that could have been this way. Notice though Lutano there on the mini map. Of course, we got our trio here scoring on the bottom path, and then Toon going to answer that back up with a 27, and GG going to answer that whole thing with a goal break. And you're seeing points just kind of left and right here. This is very nice. But Yeet fan, everybody's trying to sort of defend up here, and they will pick off Lutano. That was the original point that we were talking about when you were looking at the mini map. You saw Lutano was kind of that lone gladiator today, and Gladiators, I still salute you. You're doing really well. Nemesis, though, they are, in this game to play. So there's just lots of crucial things happening all over this matchup. So Kanashi, we're looking at just about a minute until that zap is going to be coming up. So we have to see, what's the timer on the Dreadnought, and then who does what for that Zapdos.
Yeah, that was a really interesting altercation. I wanted to point that out. So Lutano went and pushed in the Rotom at top, and then you saw the way how Goof was pathing there. He went through mid, tried to go to the goal, and realized, hey, I'm not gonna have enough time to get here to knock this 46 here to go and break tier 2. So they decided to back out. Probably the smarter play, making sure that you can get your farm up and running. But it would have been huge if there was just a couple more seconds in time for Goof to get there, to go ahead and dunk and break that. That would have been really big moving forward into this game. But Dreadnought just has spawned here. So the third Dreadnought with 14 seconds left. I don't think either team is going to go for it, but rather just play prevention here as we're slowly approaching that Zapdos fight.
That was key, right, is the play prevention part, but also if you can pick off anybody before that zap, that's going to be critical. So Ryu trying to go for blood right now. That greedy Greedent. She's going to throw down the berry belly flop, ladies and gentlemen, with the rings unbound here on that bottom path. Notice Lutano is either going to join the fight or maybe try to hit that zap. I don't think that, so the zap might actually be the play, but he is now the lone gladiator, and this is going to be just quite the uphill fight, right? Because when you're going down with all these Nemesis, look at all the Nemesis players. They're going to be swarming, and so it looks like now that Zapdos could very well go for them unless that Blissy's going to steal, but no, that will be right side team. So Nemesis coming in once again with game 2, going to secure that Zapdos. And so look at these, some full pockets. We're going to see what a goal I should say, and that's going to be 100, 198 right here. So this is looking good. 96, I should say. Boom.
Yeah, Nemesis telling Zugrug to scramble like an egg, but instead folded him like an omelet and just cleaned up everything else that was moving forward there. So good job by them. Nemesis just applying that pressure and making sure that they have that damage going their way. So Nemesis going to be moving on into our winners finals, and Gaimin Gladiators not really having a lot of time or space to go ahead and score here. Are going to have to climb their way back through losers brackets. It's going to be really interesting.
Right, the only way that you could feasibly do this, if you were Gaimin Gladiators, especially when you're looking at 40 seconds, but even if you had a minute or so, like we've seen them come back in some certain, when the chips are down, of course, like I mentioned many times today, but they would really you would have to see lots of these 50s. Now they're trying to accumulate it, right? You can see there's obviously points to pick up on the ground, maybe stack up that AO synergy, but it's just, that is such a tall order, right? I mean, Zug, he doesn't really have a path against this Greedent, right? So you're seeing it all manifest right here in front of us. You have to take some of those Spirit Shackles. It is devastating. So well played if you are Nemesis. That is looking like it's going to be the GG, and I don't mean Gaimin Gladiators. I mean a good game right here, and that's what it was. Nemesis, you are right. Mighty NY saying Nemesis is wild. They were absolutely wild.
Yeah, they did the right things, and we're gonna get that final score in for you guys as we are gonna get ready for this winner's final score. Here is gonna be 264 to 650, going the way of Nemesis. So good on them to be able to secure that down, make sure that they can get that. A lot of scores going out for everybody this time, making sure that everybody is getting on the board this time. And yeah, good showing by both of these teams. Honestly, it's just really tough, but that is going to send Gaimin Gladiators down to the losers bracket, and this time they are going to be facing off against Foreign Famous in the losers finals. And we'll definitely be looking forward to see if they want to get that run it back moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, that's a game to watch. Like, Foreign Famous, obviously not a team to sneeze at either. Anybody that makes it this far in the bracket, not a team to sneeze at, you know, to use that cliche verbiage here. But yeah, we're looking at Goof still dealing a lot of damage in this whole entire tournament. Been wonderful as that damage-dealing attacker. I know that a lot of people in our chat were, you know, giving a lot of the love, a lot of the support for Gaimin Gladiators. You have to hand it to Nemesis here, though. I mean, this was a team pulling that off in the G4 tournament, I should say, against GG. That's what I was trying to say. A lot of G's here throwing out in the mix here as we commentate this, but they're doing it again. And so Nemesis, you know, this is a team to watch. This is a team to look out for if you were not already. Like I said, I just love watching our trio play, but now we've been seeing Yeet Fan come into prevalence here in these tourneys with that Decidueye pick. Just amazing, just amazing. So that's the kind of Unite match that we all want to see. And so Kanashi, let us know what's going to happen next. I'm excited.
Yeah, so as stated here, you know, Gaimin Gladiators did lose to Nemesis in this matchup, but we are going to be able to see them once again as they're going to be facing off against Foreign Famous in the losers finals. Winners is going to have a run it back against Nemesis. So stay tuned. Make sure that you guys are here. When we come back, we'll be bringing you that losers finals match. So we'll see you then.